The top stories. The drought is causing some farmers to do tough things. One says he's had to put down cows. Donville Inniss says there's too much stalking. And sex, lies and chemical weapons. An American Bajan at the center of a bizarre love triangle goes free. Welcome to Nation News for Thursday, June the 5th, World Environment Day 2014. The current dry spell is so bad that one St. George dairy farmer says he has already had to put down some unproductive cows. The Weekend Nation's Street Beat has been speaking to farmers in the parish, and the message is mostly that the drought is one of the worst they had experienced. Dairy farmer Paul Davis said some small farmers would likely face tough times and be forced to follow his lead by putting down, to use the industry term, some animals. It's a very serious situation, Mr. Davis says, as cows need grass to survive, and without the needed level of rainfall, those which cannot survive on silage alone will have to be got rid of for management reasons. Crop farmers in the parish are also feeling the effects of the lack of rain. And you can read more of this distressing story in the Weekend Nation's Street Beat with Carlos Atwell. You may have a parched brown environment at the moment, but when the whole picture is taken into account, Barbados is a green economy pioneer. That accolade came from United Nations Environmental Program Director Akim Steiner, who has been here for the Global Environment Day rally, which was hosted by Barbados at Independence Square. Mr. Steiner spoke at a follow-up news conference where two major reports on the sustainability of small island developing states, or SIDS, were launched. Speaking at the World Environment Day rally, Prime Minister Frondell Stewart called for more cooperation among small island developing states who are considered to be among those most threatened by rising sea levels. Mr. Stewart said this was the best way for small countries to have their voices heard in the international arena, but to date, cooperation and collaboration had left much to be desired. In keeping with the theme of the environment, students of the Wesley Hall Junior School have received tips on how the energy from the sun can be used. Solar research scientist Adi Mohammed took the children on a mini tour of various self-made solar displays set up on the grounds of the school. Principal Herbert Gittins said the exercise was designed to show the importance of solar energy. The highlight of the day was a solar-powered toy vehicle, which happened to be the perfect size for the younger members of the school. Ministers do a lot of talking, but one is now saying he is tired of the mini talk shops and it is time for action. That from Minister of Commerce and Industry, Donville Inniss, who said he wanted real action on exports during a regional consultation on market intelligence and export strategy. Before you export, you must of course have a product to brand, and Pamela Coke-Hamilton, the executive director of the Barbados-based regional agency Caribbean Export, told the conference that it was time local businesses follow the American model. Brand products that consumers feel that they want, even though they don't need them. The Transport Minister, Michael Lashley, says he will be cracking down on ZR pirates on central routes, particularly one that goes to Prout St. Thomas. Mr. Lashley was speaking at a town hall meeting hosted by his Ministry for Cane Garden residents at the Lester Vaughan School on Wednesday night. Some experts may have expressed reservations about the future of the National Insurance Scheme, but Minister of Labour Dr. Esther Bayasuku continues to assure Barbadians that they can have faith in the NIS because of the work of its investment unit. Speaking at the annual NIS board lecture on Wednesday night, Senator Bayasuku insisted that the NIS fund was making sound decisions.
This unit has provided very sound and comprehensive advice to the National Insurance Board since its inception and has helped in the development of a very attractive investment portfolio. With reserves of over $4 billion, the National Insurance Fund can serve as a provider of financing for investment projects which can generate jobs and spur economic resurgence. However, the investment unit has oversight of any and all investments and is committed to following a good governance framework. This commitment is also mirrored by the board and the cabinet.
The lecture on the global economic and investment outlook was delivered by John Stolfus, a market strategist for Oppenheimer, an investment firm based in New York. In sport, last year's losing finalists Blackman and Gollop and multiple champions St. Giles Primary have been rolling over their opponents in primary schools netball. In the latest games, Blackman and Gollop crushed Chalky Mount 10-0 and then also scored an 11-4 win over the Staple Grove Schools B team in the second round of the competition. St. Giles hammered Cuthbert Moore Primary 18-1 and Hillaby Turners Hall 19-0. Matches will continue on Friday at the Netball Stadium. For more scores, log on to our website, nationnews.com. And finally, sex, lies, and chemical weapons. No, it is not a soap opera thriller, but elements of a case involving a Barbadian immigrant whose conviction has been overturned by the United States Supreme Court. The court has ruled in favor of Carol Ann Bond, who had been prosecuted for allegedly poisoning her husband's lover under a federal law aimed at deterring chemical weapons. When the Bajan learned her husband was the father of her best friend's baby in 2006, she took matters into her own hands, according to prosecutors. Using her background as a microbiologist, she allegedly attempted to poison her friend, Merlinda Haynes, by using a combination of chemicals that she stole from her boss and bought on the internet. She was, however, prosecuted under the Chemical Weapons Convention Implementation Act, a federal law that forbids any person knowingly to develop, produce, otherwise acquire any chemical weapon. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote that the law does not cover Mrs. Bond's unremarkable offense, as he put it, and threw out her conviction for attempted poisoning. By the way, the worst injury sustained by the second woman in this love triangle was a thumb burn. And that's Nation News for June the 5th. Join Natasha Beckles on Friday when you can also get your Weekend Nation. Keep up to date with breaking news on our website, nationnews.com, and on Facebook. All our newscasts are on our YouTube channel.